Is I always say I work for the fans. So I always take questions from you guys, ideas from you all, and I put that into my interviews with these players every week. And something very fun at the end of the interview is I do an activity like Office Olympics, just something really fun. And I don't always win, but that's not the point. Just so you guys can get the chance to see these players as people, not just as guys with helmets on running around on Sundays. It's really cool. So if I have your interest, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think. Well, before I just get into everything, let me just go ahead and do my intro the normal way that I do my intro. Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And today, week 9 of the NFL. Final score in this game, Carolina Panthers 31, Kansas City Chiefs 33. Close game, close game, close game, close game. They continue to happen. It's kind of weird. I don't want to come on every week and say, hey, you guys should feel good. But that's how I feel. Like, it was a great game. It was a great game. But post-game shows, as you guys know, interactive shows. So if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, I invite you to hop on over to YouTube. That way I can see your questions and interact with you. That is 100% why I go live and why I like to say I work for the people. So I always want to get your questions. I'm going to go through some information. Had a chance to, as always, talk with Coach Rule and a number of players after the game, so I'm going to go over that. Going to touch on some stats from today's game, and then all the questions that you all have left in the comments. Going to take some time and then go over all of those questions, all right? So got to give a shout out to Chris Johnson, first person to sign on and say hello. You know, I may have to come up with something that I can give to the first person that always signs on to watch these broadcasts. But until then, Chris Johnson, I'll just say, appreciate your love. Gotta say, I appreciate your love to Shaq as well, always signing on. And whoever dude is, I like your name, and I like the frown that says missed field goal killed us. So again, continue to leave all your comments. I'm gonna go over some things, share with you, starting with player interviews. Well, particularly we first start off with Coach Matt Rule. And quite easily, every reporter wants to talk about the aggressive play calling today. It was extremely aggressive. In my opinion, it was extremely impressive. And I like it because to me, it does so many things when you look at the game today, just from a play calling standpoint. Forget whether or not it worked. I don't feel like this coaching staff was out there just arbitrarily just throwing out prayers. To me, it felt like everything was very well calculated, very well attempted. And it just, to me, screams like we want to win now. There's so many things that this team could be doing to say, we're just trying to prepare for rebuilding. We're just trying to prepare for down the road. But I get so excited that they're trying to win now. So let me go ahead and go into what Coach Matt Rule talked about. When questioned about the aggressive play calling, he said he felt like they were good plays, that it was not any particular different mindset about trying to win this week than it has been any other week. They're trying to win each game, each and every single week. And particularly on that 4th and 19 play, he just felt like, what else can you do but go for it there? You know, of course you could say you could do something else, but if you're trying to win a game, you're trying to win the game up against a very explosive team that can put up a zillion points in a minute. You're in the 4th quarter, you're in their home stadium. He felt like, what else can you do there? And to me, that speaks for the mentality of win and win right now. Got a note here that I'm just not sure what I was writing. Wasn't anything about them, just looking back over the course of the years. Oh, and furthermore, on that aggressive play calling, he said it wasn't, going back to, excuse me, it wasn't anything particular about the Chiefs that they were trying to do today other than win. And he always is looking back at the team, looking back at the history and seeing what's going wrong, what can we do to improve things. And he's like, there's just been too many field goal attempts, too many. So that was another reason why you saw them going for it on 4th down and being more aggressive and trying to score touchdowns instead of kicking field goals. Certainly they did kick some field goals, but that wasn't what they were trying to do. That wasn't their goal. They were trying to be as aggressive as possible, just without being just egregious in some things. And Coach Rule reiterated, hey, if he had a chance to make these calls all over again, he will still be just as aggressive as he was today and do it all over again. And, you know, he gave us a great chance to win, a phenomenal chance to win, only losing by 2 points. Christian McCaffrey was looking injured toward the end of the game. You saw the broadcast showing him getting some treatment. Seemed like on his ribs, or getting some attention, I should say, towards his ribs. Matt Rule at this point today said he did not have any information about that injury. And Christian was not made available to us today. We were told that he would be made available to us tomorrow. So you could draw conclusions, but you know me, I like to wait until there's actual facts to report, or unless I have an extremely strong feeling about what may be going on. Hey, I'm loving the comments that I'm seeing coming through on Facebook. So again, if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, it's a good place to watch it, just hear what I have to say. But if you got some questions, which I welcome, I'm here working for you, then just hop on over to YouTube and submit your questions there. I got some that I'm going to go through, and I'm going to answer them all. So going towards the end of the session with Coach Matt Rule, it was some play calling, and man, I could talk about the play calling all day long on this by this coaching staff. But he did say and affirm that toward the end of the game, you saw them lining up, and what they were trying to do was set up a Hail Mary on the left-hand side, but set up something underneath on the right-hand side. And they were hoping that they would get more of a play and more of attention on that Hail Mary to then hit the short pass, but wasn't able to get much of a gain there, and end up resulting in going for that attempt for a long field goal at the end of the game. Why? Again, put Joey Slye up against a very long field goal to win the game. So the wind was at his back, and felt like that was the best opportunity for these guys to win the game. And unfortunately, Joey Slye did not make the field goal, and the Kansas City Chiefs went on to win. So that would be all the notes that I have from my session that the media was able to have with head coach Matt Rule. Teddy Bridgewater was next up to the media to talk to, and things that I want to highlight or bring out from Teddy Bridgewater. And I'm going to stop for a second because I love this comment that I just saw from More Worship. Hopefully I said his name correct. He said, "I'm proud of our boys." I don't know how you couldn't be. You should want to win. You should want greatness, but you should also admire, respect the current success, the current attempts, the current position that this team is being put in, with a legitimate chance to win every single game. Very legitimate chances. So I forgot to wear my shirt, but I'm going to put a link that you'll be able to see in the rebroadcast. I got a shirt that I want you guys to consider purchasing. Supports the channel. It's a lot to cost to run this media operation, but it basically says the Carolina Vows. I'm just saying that you're going to support this team no matter what. You're going to stand by them. I think some of you guys may like that shirt. But Teddy had a run late in the game where I'm just like, man, this team wants to win. I love it. I love it. I love it. Was it the 4th and 19, 4th and 13? I forget. But he ran for it. And he said as he was running, he looks over to the side, sees the chains are a little bit in front of him, sees the defenders are in front of the chains, and he knew if he slid, there was no way that he was going to get it. So he made the decision to jump and to go for it. And of course you could say well, yeah, that's the obvious thing, but a lot of guys don't do it. A lot of guys don't put their body on the line. I mean, this guy just got racked pretty good last week running the ball. There could be some legitimate hesitancy to doing that, but he didn't. And man, that leadership style, that is contagious, to have players just going all out. And I asked Robbie Anderson about this, which was, hey, with all that aggressive play calling, how does that make players feel? Does it roll down to you? And he said, absolutely. It trickled down. There's always urgency, but there's nothing like seeing aggressive play calling that makes it contagious for players to want to do everything they can, put their body on the line, put all their heart into it, and try to make the best out of every single play and opportunity that they have. One more comment about the time of talking with Teddy was, and I'm glad to hear this because, again, as a media person, I can say /fan, I love how we're been contesting in all these games. But the players, they're still pissed. You know, Teddy flat out said a game like today pisses you off, especially when it's a game against a very good team like the Chiefs, and you're so close, and they just don't want to hear, "Hey, we're close. Hey, we." They don't accept moral victory. So for people that are hard on this team, I know Shaq, you're hard on them. I feel like you're hard on them, but you know you're allowed to. Just know that these players aren't enjoying being close. They're tired of being close, and they want to get over that hump and get some victories in here. Sam Franklin was another person that we were able to talk to today. That is safety Sam Franklin, and there was a play where Tyreek Hill was pretty much wide open. You know, anybody should have been that open, caught the ball, and made a touchdown. But he said that was on him. Did not properly communicate to his teammates on what to do on that play. And when asked about the challenges of defending a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, I thought he gave some pretty good insight, so I'm going to share with you. He said the thing that makes Patrick Mahomes so different is, yeah, he's fast, but that's not really the thing, his 40-yard speed, that makes him such a hard quarterback to defend. The biggest thing about Patrick Mahomes is you have quarterbacks that are pocket passers, so you know what you can do, try to get them out of the pocket. You got quarterbacks that like to run, but they'll tend to want to run to one side or the other. And you just try to get them off their spot, and they have limitations. But Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback that really has the ability to do any and everything. Back foot, left foot, underhand, overhand, jump pass, spin around, run fast. And he also has some elite talent to get the ball to. So, you know, he didn't say like, hey, we're just going to bow down. But when asked about the challenges and playing a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, I think he hit the nail right on the head. He has a lot of weapons. He has a lot of talents in his heart. And that's why, again, I have to go back and commend this coaching staff. What I'm trying to communicate to you guys is that I'm just not satisfied that we're losing, but I'm happy that we're playing close games, and I'm so excited about what this team can grow into. Moving on, last but not least, Joey Sly. We had a chance to talk to Joey Sly, man. I didn't share this with you guys, but you know, I was excited this week that I was out and about just doing my daily life and routine. Past this guy, and I'm like, that looks like Joey Sly. And I had to go and approach him and just say hello to him and told him, hey, it was actually cool because as a reporter, you know, typically I'm used to right now being in the locker room, running back upstairs to the press box, putting together a video for you guys, and just having probably been surrounded by dozens of reporters trying to hold a mic to get some information. But we have not been able to, I have not been probably within 20 yards of a player all season. So it was cool to see Joey Sly. We kept our social distance. I probably stayed about 7 feet away from him and talked to him for a minute. But nevertheless, when I knew that there was probably a good chance he was going to have to try to kick another record-breaking field goal, I'm like, why are they doing my boy Joey like that? I mean, yeah, he has a strong leg, but geez. You know, I was cheering for him to make it. Unfortunately, he did not make that field goal. But Joey said, you know, he's doing everything that he can to put himself in a position to win. He said that there was some changing winds going on, but what he did, he know that Harrison has a strong leg just like him, the kicker for the Chiefs. So he made a point to watch his pregame routine, watch what he was doing pregame, and try to see what lines that Harrison Bucker was using, so he could try to take advantage and do the same thing. And so for the most part, Harrison was doing the same things that he was, but the winds were a little tricky out there today in Kansas City. And about that field goal attempt, there was a lot of commotion going on after the kick. He couldn't exactly see just how short or long that he was, but really felt like the wind just did some things and took that ball where it didn't fight the wind like he was intending it to be. And certainly said he felt like he let his team down, which he says every single week that, you know, I won't say every single week, but every single week that he has that opportunity to help his team get a victory with the last second field goal. Of course, he wants to do it, and you know, he feels like he lets the team down, but, you know, kind of still relating to the aggressiveness of the play calling. Joey said something that made me then think about some things that Matt Rule had said earlier this season or before the season even started. He feels like he could steal some opportunities on special teams. He feels like that's a great way to even the playing fields a little bit more and turn the tables in games. And I know earlier in the season that when he was mentioning that, I'm thinking, okay, we might see Christian McCaffrey returning some kicks. But it hasn't been that we've seen, but we've certainly seen some aggressive play calling as they try to steal some possessions, try to steal some momentum, and keep the game going. And he said Coach Rule over the summer, or before they were able to gather in Charlotte in person, did share some stats with them on how much it can help, and things that they're doing right now in terms of being aggressive isn't a surprise for them whatsoever. And when asked, Joey Slye, when asked about the fake punt and would he relish in the opportunity to do a fake field goal and maybe throw the ball, well, that really isn't going to happen because he's always the one that's going to be faking the kick, and then the placeholder generally does the fake. But he says he probably, if you haven't seen Joey Slye or remember, he's a pretty muscular, Popeye looking kind of guy. He said he'd probably go and try to run over somebody. He doesn't think that he'd probably go and throw the ball, which is probably why they shouldn't give him the opportunity to do any kind of fake where he has to throw the ball, because he probably wouldn't follow the game plan too closely. So I thought that was cool, something lighthearted to share with y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some of these stats and also your questions. Continue to leave the questions. I'm about to go through some of these stats from today's game, some more feedback on today's matchup of the Chiefs and the Panthers, and love interactions, which is why these shows are live. So leave anything that you have in the comments on YouTube. All right, so if you're over on Facebook or Twitter, hop on over to YouTube. And also, if you're still watching, hopefully you are, hit that like button, all right? Helps other Panther fans find out about the show. So what happened today for this loss? To me, you just got beat by a better team. You could be nitpicky and an extremist and find something. I know I watched the game with my son today, and he was really about being mad that they went for that onside kick earlier in the fourth quarter. But I don't feel like anything was wrong with that. They still put themselves in a position to win. But let's go over some stats. That's what we're going to do now. We're going to go over some stats, give you all a chance to add some more questions in here. I like to start with quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, who had a pretty good game. 36 for 49. That is 49 times that Teddy Bridgewater dropped back and threw the ball. And I think he might have been sacked just one time today. Did I lose my mark on my box score? He was sacked twice. And they did definitely start to get some more pressure on Teddy in that second half versus the first half. And they were able to sack him 2 times. But nevertheless, let's go back to this information here. 36 of 49, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. Give it up to Teddy. No interceptions today. A 103.3 passer rating. So pretty solid game by Teddy Bridgewater there. Christian McCaffrey, he returned to action. And you know what? At first, if you follow me on Twitter, which I invite you to do so, I was thinking, okay, we might see, a 50-50, a 60-40 kind of split with Christian McCaffrey. Nah. I guess they fooled us all. They made a bit just saying, let's start him out pretty slow, see how he responds, talk to him when he comes off, and if he's looking pretty good after a couple plays, let's go ahead and let him be the workhorse that he always is. So Christian McCaffrey today, 18 carries for 69 yards, 1 touchdown. On the receiving side, he had 10 receptions, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, and had 10 targets. So on the day, Christian McCaffrey with about 2 touchdowns, and fast math says about 140 or so yards total from scrimmage. So picking up right where he left off earlier in the season prior to the injury. Continued on through some stats today. Curtis Samuel. You know, hats off to Curtis Samuel. Has been a role player and a darn good role player this year, with first being on third down conversions and now on receptions. Curtis Samuel had his first 100-yard reception game of the season today. 9 receptions, 105 yards, 1 touchdown receiving on 9 targets. And I think I should have put this on the screen as well. I know he had a rush TD. I'm just going to make doubly sure how many he had. No, they don't give him a rush TD. Okay. All right. So I was going to count that little flick as a rush TD, but you know what? The ball went forward. That is a pass. So therefore, he had a passing touchdown. Did not add on to his total of rushing touchdowns on the season. So, all right. Moving on through some more stats here as we are now in the home stretch. Got to talk about the rest of the wide receivers. I actually had this graphic up here, just didn't go to talk about it. DJ Moore. I'm just going to let you all look at this stat for a second. DJ Moore, 2 receptions, 18 yards, 3 targets. So there's a little bit of a delay when I'm speaking, but I certainly want to try to get some feedback from you all about this. What is going on with DJ Moore? Is it chemistry or lack thereof between him and Teddy Bridgewater? Is it play calling from the offensive coordinator? Or is it DJ Moore not getting open? So again, there's a little bit of delay from when I talk and when you guys get the information. So hopefully you all will share some comments that I'll be able to talk about in this live video. But I do feel like 2 receptions, 3 targets. I felt like last game it wasn't where it needed to be. Now is this paramount? Is this a huge problem? No, because we have a lot of weapons, lots of weapons. But I'm certainly going to keep an eye out on DJ Moore only getting 3 targets in a game. All right, we're going to continue to move on through our last one here. Let's talk about the defense. We can't forget about the defense, especially with some people getting pretty upset about the defense. So Sam Franklin, he was our leading, let me put this on the screen here for you guys. Oh, it is on the screen. Sorry. Sam Franklin led the team with touchdowns. Wow, that's what happens when you, let me do this. That's what happens when you get distracted and you try to do 2 things at once. You start talking about the defense and you mention touchdowns. So let me not be distracted and get you guys this proper information. So Sam Franklin led the defense with tackles, 7, had 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 quarterback hit. Brian Burns, who, in my opinion, you just got to say, man, I cannot wait to see where this guy is through just even this season. I don't even need to wait till next season. Brian Burns just seems like he is on the cusp of being a leader, a winner, a big playmaker in this league. All right, he gets off that ball, gets around, gets some pressure, like somebody you haven't seen since like a Julius Peppers, right? But let me show you the stat. Brian Burns had 2 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and by far leads the team with quarterback hits. He had 3 quarterback hits today. All right. So let me scroll back on up. And do you think we lost on purpose? I got to do this properly and go in the right order for questions. So give me just 1 second. All right, so let me go ahead and go through these questions from you guys. All right, scrolling back up to the top. Chris Johnson feel like the defense showed up late. I don't feel like, let me look at the stat really quickly before I release my full comment on the defense showing up late. Let's see here. I feel like the defense played pretty evenly the entire game. Now, I do want to give the defense a lot of credit for forcing that punt late in the game after the onside kick attempt, right? And maybe that's what you mean by showing up late, is that didn't happen till pretty late in the game. They kept the Chiefs from scoring touchdowns for quite a bit of the game, or at least definitely at the beginning of the game, and then they started to kind of come on late and get some touchdowns. So I feel like it was balanced between the defense doing what they can, making them kick field goals. You got a prolific passer and Patrick Mahomes and prolific receivers and Tyreek Hill and others. So you certainly could want more, but I don't feel like it was just a bad defensive effort. I mean, you certainly want to stop Patrick Mahomes, but easier said than done. Shaqi said, I'm proud of the effort overall by the Panthers, mad about 12 costly penalties. A lot of them were inexcusable. So, yeah, Shaqi, I always like you sign on, man. Appreciate you signing. We did have too many penalties. You know, Coach Rule talked about the number of penalties that this team had today, and they did. They had a dozen. They had 12 of them for 82 yards. So that's something that is certainly almost like turnovers. We did win the turnover battle today, even though we didn't win the game. We had one turnover. The Chiefs had one turnover that we recovered. I'm sorry. They had one turnover. Carolina Panthers didn't have any. Typically, when you do that, you put yourself in a pretty darn good position to win the game, and I feel like we did. we came down to a last-second attempt, and even before you go to talk about Joey Sly, you know, it was good by Teddy Bridgewater to find Curtis Samuel over the middle and get us that far in position. And I feel like the team did try to do some things to just get them a few extra yards to be able to put Joey Sly in a better position, and it just didn't work out. Dude says the missed field goal killed us. I don't think that you could say record attempting field goals are what killed us, because you don't want to be in a position where you have to break a record to win a game. So, you know, certainly it would have helped, but you just got to say, I can nitpick and find some things about, you know, DJ Moore not getting the ball, or a play here, or a defensive let up there. Travis Kelce just ran all over us. I still like to say it was a good game won by the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Wasn't the field goal that put us into the losing column. Ali Broderick, proud of the team. We stuck in there and fought. The 3 points we missed hurt us in the end, and excited about the future of this team. So, yeah, Joey Sly, you know, he seemed like really just perplexed and mystified about that field goal that he missed. He's like, he still doesn't really see how that happened. He was just thrown off. Certainly feel like he gave it the best effort. And I think when you watch the broadcast, it definitely looked like he did everything right. And then maybe at the last second, some wind picked up, kicked the ball, and made him hit the uprights and didn't make it. So one of those things. All right, Shaqi with some more comments. Unhappy with Phil Snow. Doesn't believe in using more than 3 guys to rush. You're not going to win by using 3 rushers. I'm also unhappy with the lack of urgency on the final 2 offensive drives. So, here's where I say benefits of being a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Love the comments, love things that I can take to the coaches. So I'm going to try to get that question into the defensive coordinator about the rush attempt from this game, and I'll report it back to you. So, hey, hit the like button if you haven't already done so. I will work for you guys and get that question asked, all right? Kevin McFarland, we play so well. Is Christian McCaffrey okay? Indeed, we were able to hear about Christian McCaffrey, and that was Coach Rule at the time said he didn't know anything. Certainly would expect to talk to a guy like Christian McCaffrey first game back. Post-game, the PR team said that he was not going to be available today, so he will be available tomorrow. Small chance that Christian will be forthcoming and let us know what happened today on that, what appeared to be an injury. But officially, the team's not required to let us know anything until Wednesday about Christian McCaffrey. So, again, good reason to follow this channel. We are to talk to Christian McCaffrey tomorrow, so I don't know what exact information I will have, but I will have an update for you. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and stay tuned on that one. We didn't lose on purpose. I mean, we took on the Super Bowl champs. Yeah. Like, you can't please everybody. But if you're a fan of myself, if you're a fan of the Carolina Panthers, what am I doing here with the graphics? Messing up the graphics. You just got to be happy about I won't say you just got to. I'm happy with the effort of this team. I'm happy about the future of this team. We did take on the Super Bowl champs, and we took them down to the last second. Unfortunately, we did not get the field goal, record-breaking field goal to win the game. So we are currently, at this point, team that is 3-6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints play later on this evening. We are solidly in fourth place, or I should say, I guess, tied for third place with the Atlanta Falcons as they won today. The Atlanta Falcons are 3-6. Carolina Panthers are 3-6. Don't have much more of a chance, not technically eliminated from playoffs, but we're certainly getting to that danger zone with 6 losses at this point in the season, having lost 4 games in a row. Buccaneers and Saints play tonight. Winner of that game looks to be in good position to make the playoffs this season for sure. So I'm going to check back one more moment to see if there's any last bit of questions that came through before I sign off of here. Last chance, going once, going twice. All right, so hey, as always, sincerely appreciate everybody that tunes in at any point to watch a Charlotte Vibes show. I am Chris Jenkins, credential member for the media. Love to say that I work for you. That means I love to get comments. I love to get questions from fans to go and directly ask coaches and players, and I will do so each and every time I get a chance to do so on your behalf. The Wood Brother, thank you for joining in late. Thank you for signing on.